Hello everybody, it is Dan, your friendly fishmonger from dansfish.com. Today we are going to feature some Scarlet Badis that we have that look awesome. So come on in, let's take a look. So I'm going to start this video off a little bit differently than normal, which is I'm going to show you how I put the camera in the tank. So right now the camera is in the tank, my hand is in the tank, and the reason I want to show you that is because if you notice, the fish didn't all scatter. Right? They don't really care. In fact, that little guy right at the bottom of the screen is just hanging out right by where my hand was. So these are not necessarily a shy fish. Now, they have a reputation of being a shy fish, but I find that's only true if they don't have adequate cover and if there's only a couple of them in the aquarium and they aren't comfortable. But if they're comfortable, if they have plenty of plants to hide in and all of that, plenty of cover to hang out in, then they'll quickly become accustomed to you. When I come up to this aquarium, they come up to the front of the tank and they start begging for food. They're out and about, they're personable. This whole time my hand's been in the aquarium and they've just been hanging out, like they don't care. That's the first thing I want to say is that if you see them and they're shy and they're retiring and they're hiding all the time, it just means they aren't comfortable. Perhaps you need to put more plants in the aquarium, or perhaps you need to put some dither fish in there or something, or perhaps you need a larger group. So this is a fish where I would get either only one or I would get a lot in a large aquarium. And the reason why is this. Often they're seen as a nano fish because they're small, but they're pretty little hate machines. They really have attitude. So if you get several in a small tank, they're likely to beat each other up, especially if there's not a lot of cover. You need a whole lot of plant cover for them to be able to live together. However, if you have a larger aquarium and you have a lot of plant cover, then you can put a larger group in that'll help cichlid-like spread the aggression out and help them to be out and about and comfortable. So if you have a small tank, I would really only get one, and if you have a larger tank, then you can get a group. Just make sure there's plenty of cover, and that will prevent the problems of aggression that these guys are kind of famous for. As you can see though, this is a 30-gallon aquarium, so it's 3 feet long and 18 inches front to back. That's the footprint. And I've probably got 50 of them in here or so. And you're not going to see a bunch of beat up fins. You're not going to see fish that are stressed out or anything like that. They're doing just fine in a large group. But that's because it's a large enough tank they can, and because there's plenty of plant cover in here, and because there's so many fish that helps spread the aggression out. So one or a ton, I guess, is kind of the rule with these guys. Because again, they are pretty little hate machines. They only get about 3/4 of an inch or so, maybe a little bigger, but they have a lot of attitude and they really do defend territories. Now about sexing this fish, I've seen videos of them spawning and I've seen pictures of females and things, but I don't know if I've ever seen a female in person. Every time I've thought I've had a female, it is later colored up and turned into a male. So I'm not going to be able to sex these for you. As far as I know, all the fish I have are male. That's standard in this industry. For some reason, we just don't get females. I think that probably the exporters just think, hey, we'll send them the colorful ones because that's what they want, not realizing we do want some females. Now there's a few in here that I look at and I'm like, oh, maybe that's a female. But again, if I separated that one out and it started feeling dominant, my odds are it would probably color up into a male. Now with these guys, we've covered the tank size, we've covered lots of plants. They need lots of cover. Plants, spawning mops, caves, something, even if you just have one, otherwise they won't feel comfortable and they'll never come out. So make sure you have plenty of cover for these guys, really important. Temperature wise, gladly these can take a wide temperature, down from the low 60s on up to about 80 degrees or so. So they live in more of a temperate climate than tropical, I would say. You don't want them too hot though. They're not going to like it much above 80 degrees. From what I've read, that being said, I've never tried them higher. Maybe someone here is like, hey, I keep them at 85 degrees all day long and they're fantastic. That could be. I've just never tried it. As far as feeding, these are a micro predator and they really are not interested in prepared foods. Now with enough patience, you can probably train them to eat flakes and pellets and things, but I've never been successful at that. I've always fed them live food and frozen foods. They'll eat frozen brine shrimp, they'll eat frozen bloodworms, they'll eat baby brine shrimp. They love any kind of
small foods like that. But flakes and pellets, good luck. I mean, maybe, but I've never had any luck. Now in this video, as you can see, what they do is they browse the tank, just looking for tiny little things to eat. Again, they pretty much have to be live or frozen food, but that's their behavior, micro predators. So in the wild, they're gonna go graze along the plants and the rocks and the logs and all that, looking for just tiny little organisms that are either free floating and crawling around, or that are actually stuck, are benthic, and kind of stick to the surfaces of the plants in the rocks and things like that. Now they live kind of on the margins. In their wild habitat, they're pretty clear water, and they're like these clear water streams, but on the sides of the streams there's a lot of vegetation, a lot of plants growing, and that's where you're gonna find these guys, because everything's gonna try to eat them. They're small and they're colorful, right? Now that's one reason we need so many plants or so much cover in their aquariums, because they do come from really densely planted habitats. So Dario belonged to the Badids, like Badis and the other ones, the other fish like that. You can kind of tell just by looking at them, they're very similar. In the genus of Dario, there are 5 different species. This is the most common one in the aquarium, and one of the most pretty ones too. I also really like the black tiger Dario. They're very closely related to like bettas, different anabantoids, and also to nanids. And you can tell that partly because of their behavior and body shape and stuff, but also because of the spawning embrace. So when Dario spawns, the male wraps his body around the female in the same way that a betta splendens will do. And what they think is that there was a common ancestor between anabantoids, nanids, and badids, of which Dario are a part. They're part of the badids, way back down the road, that developed that spawning behavior and kept it even when there wasn't mouth brooding or bubble nesting or anything like that going on. So that's what the scientists think happened, or at least one possibility of what happened. Anyway, I find these guys to be absolutely delightful. I've always liked them, as long as you keep in mind that even though they're small, little, colorful little fish, they pack a big attitude. Now, I should make this clear. They aren't going to bother other species. They're really only aggressive to each other, and that's the males trying to defend a little spawning territory so that they can attract the females and spawn. They're very peaceful, just not with each other. So again, remember, 1 or a ton is kind of the rule with these guys. People are always asking what pH, what hardness, things like that. These guys are very adaptable. You can keep them in very hard water, you can keep them in very soft water, different pHs. Just make sure that it's stable. That's much more important than chasing a perfect pH or perfect hardness. So whatever you have, don't try to make the water get harder or softer, the pH higher or lower, whatever, unless you've been doing this a long time and you have an RODI unit and you know how to do that stably. For anyone else, they really don't seem to care.
Well, thanks for watching, folks. If you like this stuff, if you wouldn't mind taking a minute to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share, all that jazz, it would be greatly appreciated. The Scarlet Badis you're seeing in this video are for sale right now at dansfish.com, so if you're looking, we've got them. Until next time, have a good one. Bye-bye.